For all the latest reviews, interviews, and everything entertainment in Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam, and Telugu, subscribe to Film Companion South now.
Hi Chichi, welcome to Film Companion South.
Thank you.
Let me start with one question. Tell me genuinely what you feel. ഈ കംബാക്ക് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഈ തിരിച്ചു വരവൽ എന്നുള്ള ഈ വാക്ക് കേൾക്കുമ്പോൾ what do you feel right now?
It's a burden actually. Because it's a big responsibility for us. അപ്പോൾ ഈ ഒരു കംബാക്ക് അങ്ങനത്തെ പേരില്ലാതെ ഓക്കെ ഷീ ഈസ് ഡൂയിങ് ഫിലിംസ് ആഫ്റ്റർ എ ഫ്യൂ ഇയേഴ്സ് എന്ന് മതിയായിരുന്നു. ആൻഡ് സം പീപ്പിൾ ആർ സേയിങ് കം ബാക്ക് ആസ് ഒരുത്തി കമ്മിങ് ബാക്ക് വിത്ത് എ ബാങ് എന്നൊക്കെ പറയുമ്പോൾ ഐ ആം ലൈക്ക് സൂപ്പർ ടെൻസ്ഡ്.
ഇറ്റ്സ് എൻ ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റി ടു റീഇൻവെന്റ് റൈറ്റ്. നമുക്കിപ്പോൾ ബിക്കോസ് നമ്മൾ സിനിമയിൽ ഇരിക്കുമ്പോൾ കിട്ടുന്നതിനെക്കാട്ടും കൂടുതൽ ക്ലാരിറ്റി അല്ലേ സിനിമ ചെയ്യാണ്ടിരിക്കുമ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ സിനിമ പുറത്തുനിന്ന് കാണുമ്പോൾ.
അതെ അതെ എക്സാക്ട്ലി.
അപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെ നമുക്കൊരു when you are making a comeback, I need to use the word.
Okay.
When you are making a comeback, yeah. Did you have any plans? Like, did you have any decisions that, okay, ഞാൻ ഇങ്ങനത്തെ സ്ക്രിപ്റ്റ്സേ ചെയ്യുള്ളൂ, I don't have to do films, so I will only do films that I really want to.
Exactly.
അങ്ങനത്തെ എന്തൊക്കെയായിരുന്നു?
I had a plan like, you know, I just don't want to be a shadow in a film or something like that. Like hero in the shadow kind of characters I never wanted to do, because I have done many films as per my wish, and then I got married. And after that I have done a film, but it didn't click well. So since then I have taken a decision, like, you know, okay fine, if at all I am going to do a film, it should be a good film. I mean, like, it should be the character should be something which has a good content. So I think I have selected a good one.
But generally, even when we talk about the 2000s compared to this decade, right?
Yeah.
Chechi, when you're watching Malayalam films from outside, did you feel like എനിക്ക് ഇങ്ങനത്തെ സ്ക്രിപ്റ്റ് ഒന്നും വന്നില്ലല്ലോ, ഞാൻ വർക്ക് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുമ്പോൾ ഇവർക്ക് ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ ആൾക്കാർക്ക് കിട്ടുന്ന പോലത്തെ ഫിലിംസ് എനിക്ക് വന്നില്ലല്ലോ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇതുപോലത്തെ സ്ക്രിപ്റ്റ്സ് എനിക്ക് ആ സമയത്ത് എന്തായാലും പിച്ച് ചെയ്യാത്ത അങ്ങനത്തെ എപ്പോഴെങ്കിലും ഒരു ഫീലിംഗ് വന്നു?
Every era demands a kind of film. The audience are the judges. Okay? Yeah. If any film is a success, or if any film has been talked about, then that means it has some kind of value in it. We cannot compare it, you know, every 10 years things are changing. Maybe 5 years now, things are changing in every 5 years. So you cannot compare the 2000s film with this right now film. Yeah, this decade. Because whatever was the demand of the people, that demand was served at that time. And for me personally, if I am talking, right now a lot of realistic things are happening, but it's like a wheel. You know, again that Amanishyan kind of characters will come back. And the realistic films may fade also. This happens. And I never felt that I'm not lucky enough to do good films. I had always been lucky enough to do good projects, and my characters are still celebrated. And maybe in this corona lockdown and all, maybe my films will definitely be in the list of the most watched films. To come out of the boredom of corona for sure. Films like Kalyanaraman or Marthulikilikam or Pandippada or Kunyikunan or Chadikata Chandu, I'm sure that these films would have been watched n number of times by the people. And people, I think, like me, I mean, like, I'm a simple film, I mean, I like films which are very, very, you know, hilarious. So people like me definitely watch light-hearted movies, and I am really missing films like Kalyanaraman, Pandippada and all.
But even then, even when you're doing Rafi McCart and Shafi films and all that, you still took that time. ഇപ്പോൾ ഒരു ടി വി ചന്ദ്രൻ ഫിലിം ചെയ്യാനാണെങ്കിലോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഡോക്ടർ ബിജിന്റെ ഒരു ഫിലിം ചെയ്യാനാണെങ്കിലോ.
I just met him now.
Yeah. അപ്പോൾ what is your mindset to do those kind of films? Because it's not like you're taking your time off, you're taking a break from your, you know, those big mainstream films. Yeah. And you're doing a film because you're passionate about it.
See, the film which I have done with Dr. Biju, he was a fresh director. He had no experience in filmmaking or anything, but I trusted the way he was narrating the script to me, and I gave the date. And then it was a very small budget film. The food was also not, you know, I mean, there was no production team and all in the location. We go someplace and we will you know, get foods from somewhere possible. And it was like a experiment. I like to do such films, like, you know, low budget but still content will be good, and the film has gone to many heights.
But what is your selection process at that time? Because when you are so young at that time, generally you also hear that it's not just you making the decision, it's also your parents who are listening to the scripts.
No. In my case, I have always listened to the scripts by myself, and I have decided everything, whatever I have done. Yes, sometimes I had listened to my parents, like, you know, also do this. I have done that, but otherwise, most of the decisions were mine. I have neglected a lot of films, and it was only my decision.
But tell me one thing, Chechi. You know, at least when you start so early, like when you start in your late teens and your early 20s.
15, 15. I have started when I was 15.
First film in 15.
First film was when I was 15.
My God. So when you start when you're 15, and then you basically working in films is almost like a workaholic kind of, where you're working constantly and you're doing 2-3 films at once and you're traveling between states. അങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു പ്രഷറിലല്ലേ നമ്മൾ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നത് ഫസ്റ്റ് 10 years. പക്ഷെ അപ്പോഴാണെങ്കിലും did you kind of decide that okay, this is for 10 years, at one point I might have to stop?
Those times the stop is like getting married.
അതറിയായിരുന്നു?
Yeah, of course, അതറിയായിരുന്നു.
I find it very interesting now. I was watching an interview of yours on Kairali TV and you are saying എന്താണെങ്കിലും കല്യാണം കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ എൻ്റെ അടുത്ത് ആക്ടിങ് നിർത്താൻ പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഞാൻ നിർത്തിയേനെന്ന് you decided.
I would have.
But if you are acting now, what would you have said?
I wouldn't have decided like that.
Yeah.
Things have changed now. Then ഇപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെ ഒരു after marriage and before marriage അങ്ങനെ ഇല്ല. There is no discrimination of that sort. So also the girls have become bold. Then if I would have born in this era, or I would have come to cinema in this time, this decade, then definitely I would have also taken a decision like, okay, fine, marriage is not going to matter my career. It's my career and it's my profession, and I will continue to do it.
Chechi, another thing I've noticed is, the interviews that I saw of yours from maybe around the 2000s, 2005, 2006, the interviews, the couple of times that you did interviews recently, she's so different, like something's really changed about her. She was a very pavam girl, you must have felt.
No, never.
No, pavam as in not.
I was never portrayed as a pavam girl and all.
I felt that. Really? Some interviews I felt like she's so in the resort or some
Thank you.
But then when you're watching,
but as far as I know about myself and from whoever interviewers who have come and met me met me before, everyone used to tell that we never knew that you are a pavam, again the same word, but we thought that you are very arrogant, we are very short term.
But I'll tell you what, when I was watching a show, like a cooking show, like an infamous cooking show that has gone viral, when the host said whatever she said, I'm expecting Navya Nair to say, to obviously feel something, but just change the topic. ഞാൻ വിചാരിച്ചു ഓക്കെ ചേച്ചി എന്തെങ്കിലും പറഞ്ഞാൽ അത് നൈസായിട്ട് അവോയ്ഡ് ചെയ്യും, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നൈസായിട്ട് ടോപ്പിക്ക് മാറ്റും, അങ്ങനെയൊന്നും അല്ലല്ലോ ഇഷ്ടമുള്ളവർ ചെയ്താൽ പോരെ നല്ല രീതിയിൽ പറഞ്ഞു. പക്ഷെ യു വെന്റ് ബാക്ക് ടു ഇറ്റ് ആൻഡ് യു സ്റ്റുഡ് ബൈ ഇറ്റ്, ആൻഡ് ദാറ്റ്സ് വെൻ I'm like, oh my God, like this is so solid what she said.
Actually, even before, I used to answer straightforward. My answers were upfront. I never used to give any, polished answers or
diplomatic.
I never give any diplomatic answers. I mean, I say genuinely. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work for people. But this was also a very genuine question because I cook well. After the interview, people think that I cannot cook. Then they said, join the club. I was like, I say that I can cook. But I understood. My sister-in-law cannot cook. In the beginning, I was thinking that, okay, why she can't cook? She should cook and all.
We are conditioned to think that.
Yes. But later on, I understood. She is good at many other things. Then why are we insisting that, just because she can't cook, she is not a good homemaker? It's a wrong thing. Then it was a realization within me.
But why should it matter? Even in that case, you're a state award winning actress. Why should it matter if you don't care about cooking? It's like if a man doesn't know how to drive, it's not like a big deal, right?
Now that is also there. If a man cannot drive, then naturally people will have that eyebrows like he can't drive. They feel like ഒരു kind of incapability. അങ്ങനെ feel ചെയ്യാറുണ്ട് ഇപ്പോഴും. Yeah, that is there. Rightly said.
Yeah, exactly.
But it is a choice. And if it is a mandatory thing, then every school should start a cooking class, like a needlework and a drawing and a music class. We have needlework, drawing and music classes.
Basic cooking. So I still suffer because of that.
Basic cooking.
Chapati, dal, sambar, rice.
ജീവിക്കാനുള്ള cooking. Survival matters.
Another thing which I found very interesting when you even spoke about this in an interview with News Minute about a reality show where it's a very popular show, right? And it explains so many things about Malayali society. When you're seeing something like that and you're seeing that kind of humor, like the kind of humor where it's funny that men hit women or men hit kids or whatever. But even at that time, you stood up to it. No? You fought back and you said like, why should this be funny?
There is a small change. It was not a funny thing. That show was like, they tried to take some serious thoughts, but it's been told in a funny way.
Yeah.
But in the final thing, the man was beating the wife.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I without any reason. And the answer was told to me when they told the answer like because he cannot hit his mother, he hit the wife. I said, first of all, why should we hit another person?
Yeah.
We don't have any rights. Even I don't hit my kid also. We don't have any rights to do this ethically. But forget about whatever they have done as a skit or anything. To my surprise, everyone in the floor, including the women, were against me. They all were said, okay, fine, getting a slap from husband is okay. I was like, I never felt it so. That shouldn't be the kind of a message you should give to the coming generation. No, not about the women or men. No one has any rights to harm the other person.
What did you say to them?
See, finally, I failed in that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I said, okay, fine, but I just said my opinion. This was my comment. I can only do that. No, I can only raise my opinion. I cannot say that this is right or this is wrong.
Even with the cooking
I don't
show,
believe in right and wrong also.
Yeah.
It's so relative. So we cannot say like that. So I just kept quiet, and the best thing to do at that time is to be silent.
Even with the whole cooking show thing, from one side it might feel like everybody supported you, but you would have seen both sides of it. Yet you would have seen one side of people who are attacking you and another side that's completely supported you.
No, in that thing everyone supported me, I guess.
You didn't feel anything?
No, I didn't feel anyone, because see, it was a very genuine question. Other than that, there was no pun intended towards her. Okay, fine, I'm going to throw a sarcasm. It was never like a taunt or anything. I simply asked.
But what is this experience, especially the experience with a show like this, with a reality show like this?
See, I also say that I have been a part of another show, which has a lot of comedy element in it. But when it is purely comedy, I don't talk about gender bias or political correctness in it.
Yeah.
I just take a joke as a joke. Some jokes can be made only like that. I enjoy all these things. But when hitting, harming, slapping and all these things, I am against. Otherwise, I can enjoy all the jokes.
And finally, as someone who's lived properly in Kerala, like traveled everywhere in Kerala, worked everywhere in Kerala, when you get that space and that time to go live in Bombay is actually a bigger city than so many cities in the US and in the Middle East and all that. When you live in Bombay, then when you observe from what you've experienced in life yourself, and then from when you observe Malayali society, what are the big things that you find still very dated, still very backward compared to people who live in big cities and big places?
Tough question. I'm going to get screwed in this.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, we are. We don't appreciate so easily.
Yeah.
I think that is one thing which I found very positive in other people. That just one example is like, okay, fine, I have stayed in a society called Sea Queen. So no one, very less Malayalis are there. Then slowly people understood that I am from film industry and my name is Navya Nair, and they have started Googling my name. Then they understood that I have got Filmfare Award. They don't know about State Award. They feel Filmfare is some big. So just because I have got a Filmfare Award, they were so happy. Like, Navya, we are first time in my life we are meeting someone who has got a Filmfare. And the Filmfare is in my house, Bombay. Okay. So people used to come there to see the film. So they are not very, they are taking it so lightly, and they are happy to see the success of another person. In Kerala also people are happy to see the success and all, but they appreciate slowly. But at the same time, here in Kerala, other than all the other states, we have a lot of freedom. which usually, I mean, don't talk about Bombay or Chennai or Bangalore. These are all cities, metropolitan cities, but otherwise, you take it as a whole state, compare it as Kerala versus Maharashtra, then you can understand in the interior parts the kind of freedom which we enjoy in Kerala. You cannot find it in
The rural parts.
Maharashtra, because still honor killing is happening there.
Yeah.
So we are much more privileged than many other states in India. Why it is happening? Because of the kind of, the freedom comes from the free-minded thoughts. We have much more liberated and open. We are open to many other things. That is why we are enjoying the freedom, which the other states are not having. We really don't. We can have intercaste marriage and all. Yeah, maybe your parents will make
upset,
faces to it, but otherwise you will not be killed and all. Usually, generally, maybe 1 or 2 incidents
Exceptions,
will be there, but otherwise you will not be killed and all just because you are marrying another caste person. But that's not the case in other states.
So many other states.
Yeah, so many other states. Not only in Maharashtra, I'm talking about many other states.
But tell me about something. നമ്മളിത് ഇപ്പോഴും കേൾക്കാറില്ല. നമ്മുടെ പാരൻസിനെ പറ്റിയൊക്കെ സംസാരിക്കുമ്പോൾ അവർ പറയില്ലേ, ഒരു 60 yearsൽ റിട്ടയർ ആയി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അവർക്ക് ഭയങ്കര ഒരു എംപ്റ്റിനെസ് ഉണ്ട് ലൈഫിലൊക്കെ. അതിപ്പോ at 15 when you're working like 10-15 hours a day for 10 years, അത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് there is a drop.
Suddenly there is a drop. And
can you just tell me about what that's like?
It was very difficult phase for me. Even taking the decision to getting married was very difficult for me.
Your parents wanted you to get married.
Right now I tell others, don't do like that. You
And
should
how
get
old were
married.
you?
I was 24.
24, yeah.
So you shouldn't get married when your parents wanted to get you married. And also you shouldn't get married just because your friends are married. And or maybe don't get married when you don't have anything else to do also. So what I was going
because you're not in Kerala, right? You're in another place.
And that too in a flat.
Yeah.
We are used to in living in houses, right? Suddenly when you are shifted to a flat, that itself was little disturbing for me, because and one more thing was, like, in the beginning I couldn't speak in Hindi very fluent, like nammal school il padicha Hindi, and after that I've never used Hindi with anyone. And of course, you can speak in English, but otherwise I generally don't get friends with people so easily. So that thing also didn't work with me. Then as you just rightly said, like, so many people, crowd, appreciations, limelight, functions, inaugurations, dance programs, Gulf tours, and abroad shooting, and all these things are suddenly stopped, and you are
just in one room,
one room, within 4 walls. So it was very difficult, but I am an adaptable I can adapt to situations well. And before taking the decision of getting married, I was thinking of all these things. So I was mentally prepared. Like, okay, fine. If I'm getting married, okay, fine. I knew these kind of things would happen. Just because I was mentally prepared, I could face those things without much depression or whatever other people used to. And then one good part was, like, I immediately got pregnant and I got my kid. Then once your kid is born, you are left with no choice other than taking care of the kid. So it is a 24/7 job, and I was so much occupied, and then years went on like that with him.
So even like not just acting, but then even if you take before that, because you are technically performing since even before that, at least
that's
always
right. See, my cinema career didn't make
actually
me so
late.
busy. Even before, I was a participant of the youth festival, and school, I was a school leader, so I was the busiest person in the school. So I was quite used to with this busyness.
So from there you take till 24 when you were doing movies. Adu kayinittu when you kind of have to stop. That's what it is, right? Adakka stop cheyumba, what is the thing that you missed most about this creative side of yours?
Everything about creativity, we are losing everything. See, it is like, once you are married, it is a norm which is not written, but it is a norm that wherever your husband is, you have to go there and settle down. And whether you're working here, whether your passion is here, you are approved. I mean, you are taken from one part to another part, and now you are in a totally new place, and we have to start from the scrap. So everyone used to face this, and not like your mother, my mother, myself, your sister, or maybe so many people. So right now it's not that, and I'm happy about those kind of situation which has come for women, because now girls are not getting married so early, and even the government has given it as 21. So it's a good thing.
Yeah.
You have a
They're
lot of
increasing,
time. Yeah, it's good. No, you should increase it much more, I guess. And I'm just joking. It's the decision of the government. I'm just joking. But jokes apart, we have to have a proper age to take some decisions. So right now, girls are all taking their own time to get married.
But what about acting? Because there's of course so many actors who would have come and gone, who would have done it like a job. അവർ വരും, അവർ ആക്ട് ചെയ്യും, 10 years ആക്ട് ചെയ്യും, ഡബിങ് വേറെ ആരെങ്കിലും ആയിരിക്കും, എല്ലാ സ്റ്റേറ്റിലും ഏത് സിനിമയാണെന്ന് പോലും അറിയണ്ടാവില്ല ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അവർ 10 സിനിമ ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് they're happy, they're very content and they leave. But I see you as somebody, I mean, of course, there was the pressure because you got a state award like the second or third film. Avadan thottu you're considered an actor. After you're considered an actor, Amma Kilikuda, angantha films okke varumbo, at what point did you kind of feel like, okay, I'm falling in love with this job? Not the stardom, not the money or fame or anything. I'm talking about the process, because it's so much of it is waiting and, like preparing and by-hearting lines and angantha karyakke. Adu eppadayirunnu oru edu cinema cheyondirikkumbozhanu, oh, this is what I love. Angantha feeling vanne.
I think after my marriage I realized it.
Appa aa samayathu you just went with the flow.
Yeah, I just went with the flow.
Angane alochikkande
To be honest, yeah. Alochikkandalla, I used to listen to scripts and I do only films which I used to like or which will satisfy my
No, I meant about the process. Idinte oru acting inde oru process ne patti alochikkande.
But I never thought within myself like, I am this is what is me, or this is my passion and I can never leave this. This was not in my mind.
Right, you're coming back to a Malayalam film set after so long. Was there anything positive that you saw in terms of the changes on the sets? Like for instance, I just heard a producer say that when she returned to the sets after 20-30 years, she said, oh, ആദ്യമായിട്ടാണ് female ADs ne കാണുന്നതെന്ന്.
Oh yeah, but fortunate we had one. Vinisha.
അപ്പോൾ അതുപോലെ what are the...
See, my director VKP is like, he is always ahead of the time. He had always done films which are ahead of the time. He has, made all the tricks in cinema, like, technically or otherwise also, choosing the script. So many gimmicks he has done in cinema. A lot of magic in cinema he has tried. So I think this female AD and all, he might have done it years
even
back.
before. Yeah.
I'm sure.
So what are the other things that you noticed on the sets which you were not used to 20 years ago or 15 years ago?
Spot editing was there. Monitor was not a thing.
Not common.
Not common then. Then that's all.
Digital cameras, have you worked with digital cameras
Yes.
in Malayalam before?
In Malayalam, yes.
You've done. Has anything changed in terms of that pressure, because you worked with the reel, with film?
Yes, we are much more relaxed, because you can take n number of takes if you want. But even at that time, or even now, with the grace of God, I'm not one who
Nobody's
takes a
gone
lot of...
to 20 takes because of you.
Yes.
Apart from that, what about the scripts that came your way? Because Oruthee, I haven't seen the movie, but from the looks of it, it's about a woman who doesn't, eventually her situation is such that she doesn't need a man's help to come out of her own problems, right? It's her problem, she understands it's her problem and she has to fight. But there was a lot of difference in the kind of scripts that must have been coming your way.
No, she is a survivor. It is not that she is, this is not the thing which is in Oruthee.
Okay.
She's a person, with the help of man only she is,
Okay.
it is all about your own decision. Usually, I have told this in many interviews, but usually let it be, don't think about the gender. Otherwise, men or women or whoever it is, whatever be the situation or injustice which is happening in the society, we have an attitude like, okay, let it go. Let go off. Because we don't have the time or energy to fight for it, or we are scared of the society, what others would say, how the society will react to it, and finally we are going to be alone facing this, and all these things will always scare us. So usually for whatever the injustice which is happening around us, we just keep quiet. So instead, but if you are really by the situation, we are in a position like, we are getting insulted a lot, and we are facing all the shames under the sun, and then finally we reach a point that, you know, fear of society will go. Then from there onwards, you will have the courage to fight. So this is Oruthee is all about. It's not about who is helping. Women are also helping, men are also helping. I don't believe in that, you know, differentiation. It's like all humans are for each other. Let it be men or women or whoever. We should help each other to, you know, fight for an injustice is the thing which I believe in. So Oruthee's Radhamani is a character. She is a very normal middle class woman. She will never interfere in any issues. She will also let go of things like, you know, because she can't fight, she doesn't know whom to fight with. And also she and her husband believes that, you know, they are all big people.
You cannot take them on.
We cannot fight with them. We can only sit and crib about it, or we can only cry about it. I mean, we can't do anything major. But then finally she is realizing that no, she is realizing the fire in herself. And once the fear is gone, then the courage starts. Then the courage to fight is coming to her. And that is where Oruthee ends, with the fire that, you know, yeah, sir, I want to fight.
So when you take a break, was there ever a point that, you know, you felt that Niki Pandatwala Patto?
Yes, of course.
Yeah? And there's no doubt.
I used to tell VKP, like, VKP, did I actually forget acting? Because I was not sure how I'm going to perform or anything. I was like so much tensed. Yeah. Of course, I was excited about the character, but I was not sure, like, you know, how I'm going to perform in front of the camera and all these things. But yeah,
it's just the first 2-3 days thing.
Exactly. It's like, you know, how the Batman is getting into the pitch.
That's all. Another thing is acting in a revolution. This camera editing acting in a revolution.
Yes.
Is there an evolution?
Oh, of course.
How did you pick it up? If you had to train yourself, what did you have to do to consciously make it up to date?
I think my only homework was I used to watch every movies. So that was my biggest homework. I was updated with whatever is happening in cinema.
So when you're doing it also, that output is coming?
It comes naturally, you know.
You're feeling it.
No, you don't have to feel it inside. Once you are an artist and when you are updated, it comes from within.
Yeah.
And I hope I have done it.
What about another thing I find very interesting from the trailer at least is the accent. Vipin accent, even I have grown up in Cochin, it's so difficult to follow. Yeah. It's so difficult to namku rendu line parayan thana namku pattu varula adu engane adinte oru process enganeyanu adu padichedukkalum.
We had, I mean, our production executive Dixon, he is a proper Kochikarananu. And then we had some, and we were shooting in that Vipin. So the neighbors and all the people in and around were this Kochi people. So their slang was, of course, this. And we had some junior artist kind of people there. And one lady was having that proper Kochi accent. So I used to spend a lot of time talking to her. Not with the dialogues and all. I used to generally ask her, you know, few things about herself. And she will keep talking about it. And I used to get that, you know, slang from her.
Act even if you know you have an accent in that movie, act the accent illande cheyidittu dubbing il sheriyakan pattumo?
Pattilla. It's very difficult. For example, amma njan poneyane, amma njan povanu poneyane is a, and povanu is n, and the sync will be totally different.
And you can't fake it. You need to, it has to be perfect.
Of course. These kind of totally different slangs should be, I mean, like little corrections could be done, but I don't believe in it. I generally don't change any of the dialogues from whatever has been shot, and you know, inside the dubbing theatre, I never try to do any magic.
What about this stage? You've come back, you've acted in an exciting movie, you're listening to lots of scripts. But the system is so much better now. The infrastructure for a woman, for a woman, to the scripts she gets, the infrastructure she gets. We're talking about a time where there are women superstars, right? So in terms of the industry, how excited are you about the films that you're going to do, about the market, not just about the roles that you might get?
See, a lot of good things are happening around, but still we are not in an easy stage to say that Allam Sheriyai. I mean, like, I have faced a lot of difficulty in finding a producer for this movie because a lot of hero-centric films are there, even if they are flops, but people still believe that they are, you know.
Yeah, even
they are
heroes
ready
without
to,
a face value, they get films.
yeah, they can invest on the films, but you know, just I think I'm not sure about it, but think about all the heroine-centric movies which has come recently or maybe in last 10 years. Almost every movies are successful. Like these movies will not fail so much.
Yeah.
But when you take a comparison study,
Yeah, of the 100 films that releases every year, 150 films.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe 100 films of a hero is getting released, only 10 films are getting super hit. Then we always have an opportunity, like, you know, 10 films we are doing, and one film a hit is the same ratio.
Yeah. So why don't you take the chance?
Yes.
And there are so many new scripts possible because it's the first time that these kind of films are being made.
And also in Malayalam, we had an era with veteran actresses like Sheila Ma, Sharada Ma, Jayabharati Madam, and so many people, where so many women-centric celebrated films were there. So we can definitely get back into those eras for sure.
And finally, so tell me about like the future. Like, what are you excited about? Enganteka films, even the films that you've done in Tamil were so interesting. You know, you've always had a sense to pick the at least there's a reason why she's chosen this film. So is that happening now?
Yeah, of course. If I don't have a selection process, then I would not have waited for 10 years to do a film.
So thank you so much, Chechi. Thanks so much for opening up so wholeheartedly. We are so excited that you're back.
Yes,
and I hope that your comeback was worth it. The comeback film was worth it.
Thank you so much, Vishal. It was a pleasure meeting you too.